Hi, and welcome back to the Los Angeles International Film Festival. So that was Dark Cloud, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined today by Jay Ness, the director behind the film. Thank you for joining me, Jay.
Thank you so much for having us, for having the film, and wanting to take a few minutes of your time to just kind of talk about making movies, making the film. I can talk for a very long time about this, so I'm excited.
Oh, great. I'm excited too. It's a fantastic film. And I mean, just it's brilliant, and it's such a relevant film the times we live in as well. And I think the the God, words are failing me, the connection to reality, but being a step further. How did you come to what was the inspiration behind that? How did you come up with the idea in the first place?
Sure. Well, John, the writer, and I, we sat down with the executive producer Craig Patrick, and the idea was sort of to kind of reverse engineer what it would take to be able to do something like this. So the logic behind it, first of all, was just what is a simple character concept film that we know that we could attain the resources for, trying to keep it to one location, keeping it solely focused on one character for the most part, and staying in that space of what can be pulled off or what could be accomplished in a smaller market, in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and with a smaller budget, but still do something that could be seen as a little I guess ambitious in the indie film world, as a way of doing something that was both relevant and maybe a bit different too. I hate saying trying to do something. Everyone wants to do something different, but it's all in some form or some way. It's all been done. So, but doing something that we could pull off, I'd say was a huge reason. And for me, John came up with this concept that was pretty cool, with smart devices and being in this smart home, and taking this sort of next step into it, where we a character piece that latches on to familiar things in our world. We all have virtual assistants in our homes these days. This is relevant. Where I was able to sort of inject some personal experiences into John's concept came from some personal things I had experienced, like memory impairment, head trauma. That is something very personal to me. I've experienced a concussion and memory things, and how we could sort of fuse the idea of our dependency on technology and devices to I guess improve what day-to-day life is, and maybe thinking about it from perspective of what that next step might be, looking into what was actually happening in the world. Contact lenses, for instance, is actually a thing. If I remember right, Samsung is developing something like that. AIDA, our AIDA character, is obviously sort of that mother virtual assistant node, like Alexa or Echo, and I'm kind of getting away a little bit from some of the creative inspiration a little too much. I know I'm talking a lot about logic, but for me, it came into injecting a lot of things growing up into it. When it came to the score, I had a very good friend of mine come through and score it, and we would make films growing up based on video games like Mortal Kombat, and so it's got this weird sort of for lack of better words, Mortal Kombat vibes to it, but it was very personal to me and him. And I would say filmmakers that have done cool things with concepts that allowed for some creative freedom as well. Am I kind of going on a tangent here? Am I answering here? Are you hearing what you want to hear?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's so important, the real aspects built into the script and the story. And you talked about incorporating personal experiences that you've had, but the research that went into making all the scientific and the AI elements realistic. How did you go about that?
Yeah, so I kind of touched on that with the contact lenses. It was kind of about taking existing technology that we know that we're familiar with, or that was coming out, and then sort of coming at it from a little bit more of a creative perspective. Like, we all have tablets. You see Bruce Montgomery in the film utilizing a flat surface to scroll through what our web pages are. In this case, it's the system, like the computer system itself within the smart home. And so kind of taking those concepts like flat surfaces and putting a spin on it. I often mention that the idea is kind of to take things that we all know and are comfortable with and operate day in and day out, and then shift it. Like, I don't like saying that this movie takes place in the future. I look at it as like a shifted reality. You can get away with a little bit more with that because it's you can mix the practical things with new ideas and still feel like it's in a grounded reality that you can walk into, especially on an indie level too. It feels a little bit more freeing to be creating a new world based on the one we exist in, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's so close. It's not, I mean, it's a stretch of the imagination, sorry, but it's not so difficult to believe that would actually happen.
Yeah.
So maybe a bit of a warning, who knows? Tell us a little bit about the other challenges that you faced in the production.
Yeah, I would say that so Alexis Gabrielle, who played an awesome Chloe, for instance, we had, she, it was interesting, and it was interesting to be making a film where you couldn't quite see one of who I would consider to be like the antagonist of the film, and to knowing a lot of answers to questions that haven't quite been answered yet. Like, well, what is AIDA going to look like? What is she going to, how does she sound? And we did bring in another actress in the film, Anna Strand. She actually came in and read for Emily A. Tack on set while we were filming, so in production. So Alexis had something to work with, a performance to play with. But a lot of it was kind of knowing what it was going to be ahead of time prior to what it was on the day. And when you have filming and acting is about reactivity, and being in the moment. And so for Alexis and I, it was, we had a lot of thorough conversations prior to filming about what things were going to be like, and taking that mentality and then walking into the room the day of, and ensuring that her and I were on the same page about where this was going to go, in order to still emulate what feels like an authentic conversation. Logical things like budget limitations, being able to think on your feet, pivot when needed, having to create route B plans for a lot of scenes if weather wasn't accommodating. So I will stand by saying, knowing the answers to challenges and questions that haven't quite come up yet, or aren't quite there. And if that makes sense. So pre-production was just a little different than something I'd done before, and really having to think of everything on a super global level, where things like light being on Alexis's face, for instance, and what that would look like, what color that would be, so that later, within a year down the road, when the edit was locked, we could then apply the visual effect that I had in mind for our character to then mix or fuse with what was real. And so that was really cool. I mean, being an extremely visual effects heavy film, and one of your characters being a visual effect on an indie level, was challenging, but fun, a good challenge. That's how we grow as creatives, is by pushing comfort and boundaries and trying new things. So
yeah, I think it's amazing to be able to work with an actor in the space reacting to a character who isn't there. So yeah, I think that the prep must just be out, just insane amount of prep to get that right. So it all hangs together in the edit as well.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about how the film has been received in other places. I mean, we love it. Have you had other screenings, and also what screenings are coming up as well?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of reception, the good news is that it's been accepted into several festivals. It seems to be getting picked up and added to blocks and schedules, and that's great. And prior to us talking, what's so valuable about that is someone in my position, or our team rather, we've been working on trying to get this thing done for so long. You do kind of lose the perception of what it is you made. And so the fact that people are taking interest in it and want to showcase it and have it be part of their lineup is great. I believe I just got, and I apologize, this literally just came through and I saw the notification. I know that we just got into, the name is escaping me, the Sci-Fi Festival in Austin, Texas, coming up here. I want to say Other Worlds out of this. I'm totally doing a great job of plugging it clearly. With the name of the festival is escaping me. If you give me a moment, I definitely could take a look here. The thing about this, though, answering that question, is you've really caught us here at the top of all of our submissions, and things are coming in. We're waiting to hear back, so that being said, so far it looks good. in terms of where we'll be screening, with hopefully a lot more to come if the pattern continues to be what has happened so far.
Well, that's great to hear. And it's such a global topic and theme. I'm sure everyone all around the world can really relate to it as well. So other than this film, and what's next for this film and distribution and release and festivals and all of that, what are you up to?
Sure. A couple really cool things I've had the opportunity to do is actually, I have been directing a Star Wars film with the Make-A-Wish Foundation for our Make-A-Wish kid who wanted to be part of a Star Wars production based on a character and story that he had developed with his family and his sister, and that's been super exciting to bring another person's idea to life. And that's what I love about what we do is, as a director, what's interesting, I have my concepts, I have my ideas, and I write a little bit, but I sincerely enjoy as a director taking another idea that doesn't come from my brain, applying myself to it, and creating this thing that could not have existed had I not collaborated with someone else. I spend enough time in my head and with my brain, so when you have an opportunity like that, that's really cool. And obviously, the Star Wars universe is, I think, something we all can say inspired us to do creative things in general. It's inspired generations. And so to be part of something like that has been absolutely incredible. And the support behind it has been nothing short of just phenomenal. What it's shown me with not only the passion of the craft, but the human behavior and conditions of what people are willing to give to be part of something that is special, and also uniting over a shared love of something is great. I'm really, really proud of that project, and I can't wait to show people what we came up with. It's really cool. The last thing I'll plug about it is this character that we developed for it is great because he's not a kid for the sake of being a kid. We found a way in the Star Wars lore, taking concepts, cloning concepts, and creating a new character with that. So it's not like it's kids pretending to be adults. It's integrated into that universe as you would see a child, if that makes sense.
Wow, I'm excited about that as well. You have to keep us updated how that is when we see that and where it is.
Happily, yes. JayNess.com. I'll definitely be, as information rolls in about how it can be seen and what we'll be doing with it. Instagram as well, social media platforms.
JayNess.com. Cool. We'll keep updated there.
J-Ness.com. Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Well, we're on social media as well at Los Angeles IFF. So people can check us out there as well. And on our website is www.laiff.org. And like I said, come and chat to us on social media and let us know what you thought of the film. Get in touch with Jay and keep up to date with what he's up to. And to Jay, once again, thanks very much for joining us today.
Hey, thank you all. Thanks for giving the film an hour and a half of your time, and love what you guys are doing over there, supporting filmmakers and creatives all around the world. So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone for watching today.